Ahoy mateys, and welcome aboard. I'm Rattly Bones, and today I got a video that's gonna rattle your bones. Today we're talking about two lovers stuck in coral, landlocked to forever be in arguments, but yet forever to be in love. Of course, we're talking about Shanny and Rev. Now, if you haven't sailed the seas as long as I have, and you haven't been along for their horrible and bumpy ride, then you wouldn't know that right now, Shanny and Rev are homeless. The constant fights, bickering, and lovers' quarrel has led them to being homeless, but not alone, as they are back together in the streets, living in tents. So before we get into all of that, let me go ahead and cover the rest of what happened and led us here to these events with Shanny and Rev. Before we do, obviously, I wanted to give a good shout out to my sponsor. The sponsor of this video is me, ya matey. It's your Captain Rattle. If you love my content, if you want to be part of me hardy crew, then go ahead and like and subscribe, because I love all me hardy crew to my bony depths, and I promise to love you. So let's get into this horrible, horrible homeless fiasco.
There you go. That's it.
I didn't know this.
That was easy, wasn't it?
You mean easy?
It's a new term that the kids use, and I learned it from Aloy. It's called...
You know, the last thing you said to me is you're never going to see me again.
I didn't think you were.
Do you know how horrified I was?
I'm sorry. He said I spent a night with a guy in a tent. Yeah, we cuddled. It's a guy, actually, he was a year below me.
This love story, mateys, starts like any other love story would. A classic dime-back novel situation, if you would. With two beautiful people meeting up and committing fraud for government financial gain. Shanny fakes a disability, and Rev pretends to take care of her, and do that they gain some little bit of money, and that's how this beautiful relationship first started. It quickly evolved into something much more parasocial, with Shanny tricking and manipulating Rev and his alcoholicness into staying with her and supporting her and her two kids for a very long time. The two kids, though, is not too much of a permanent thing. Quickly Rev would end up body slamming her youngest kid over a movie, and of course that would lead to her kids being taken away. So you have a classic situation and a classic choice we see all the time in these awful relationships and predicaments. Do you, one, leave the abusive person who hurt your kids, or do you, two, leave the kids? Well, if you're a piece of crap like Shanny for Christ, then you leave your kids. So she leaves her kids, no more kidless, but the kid thing would continue to go on for a while. Now that the kids are in foster care, one of them, who's almost an adult, would speak up in the comment section of one of Shanny for Christ's YouTubes, and this would lead to multiple rants. The rants aren't worth their dime and weight, because they're just Shanny screaming about her kid and how she wants better for her kid, and the kid's hurting her. All the kid's doing is telling the truth, that she's a piece of crap. So we don't really have to get into it too much with them, because that's really all there is with that. Back and forth banter, really just a talking point on their YouTube at this point. So let me ask you something, mateys. A little bit of a personal question. What would you do with 700,000 balloons? $700,000 or doubloons. What would you do with it? Well, if you're Rev and Shanny for Christ, you blow it in under a year. You just get rid of it as quickly as possible. God knows what they were spending money on. Probably drugs. I mean, that's drug money. You know what I mean? 700,000 doubloons. That's life-changing stuff. And they're not better off. So we can only imagine what they spent the money on. Only made them worse. So $700,000 down the poop bucket. And what do they have to show for it? Homelessness. Homelessness. Through all of the relationship, it was a constant debacle with Rev. He would always seem to want another female company, if you know what I mean. He was always talking to buddy trolls who pretended to be women, fake women who were catfishing him, or just straight up AI that would be shown later on. All this at attempt to make Shanny jealous, and mad. And this would continue on until the very last moment. Even now, in their homeless arc, there are still bits and pieces of the remnants of what was. Rev struggles with his gender and sexual orientation, even streaming as a girl for a point of time called Kitty. He would do a lot of weird and fruity stuff in their relationship and in their lore, and this would continue back very, very early on. Now, usually, your Captain Rattle, I don't have a problem with anyone or their sexual orientation. The way I have always seen it is it's none of my business. I mean, unless I'm with you, it's literally none of my business. Again, mateys, unless you're hurting animals or children, I do not care. You could like men, you could like women, you could like both, or you could like neither. I really just do not care. And neither should anyone. My problem with this and Rev doing it isn't the fact that he's maybe bi or maybe exploring his orientation or anything like that. It's the fact that they're very religious. And now, yes, you can be religious and gay or whatever else. It's the fact that they're always using the Lord's name in vain. They're always using scripture, prayers, or even, for Shanny's instance, God as a personal hitman, praying for people's downfall, wishing ill on people just because they're sinners, so on and so forth. But while at the same time they do this, they actively don't practice what they preach. Now, when you hear using the Lord's name in vain, you might think of someone saying, "Oh my God," or "Jesus Christ," because that's what a lot of old people will prick you for. But that's not the case, mateys. You see, using the Lord's name in vain really means doing stuff like what Shev and Rev are doing, and what mega churches do. You know, mega churches, they have giant rooms with flat screen TVs everywhere, giant speakers, and drones and other useless gadgets to make their displays of godly affection more bright and popular. And really, that's not the case. They're using Jesus' name to make a lot of money, and a lot of money isn't often going into churches. And when they are going into the churches, they're going into flat screen TVs and drones. You know what I'm saying? Stuff for presentation, not stuff for helping the fellow man. You would consider that being the Lord's name in vain. How they use it is also in vain. For instance, again, Shanny using God as her personal hitman. Anytime someone does something sinful or bad or disingenuous, she'll use God as like a hitman. For instance, saying stuff like, "Oh, well, you know, you're going to burn for that," or "God's going to get you," or, you know what I mean? Saying stuff like that almost as if she can point and God will smite them. Rev, on the other hand, he likes to pray a lot. He likes to thank God a lot. He likes to quote scripture and so on and so forth, and act very heavenly and ceremonious and so on and so forth. But then he'll turn around and act like a woman on stream, or he'll do some very, not good things. He even cheats, you know what I mean? Some very sinful behavior. That's what my point is. They both do sinful behavior, and they don't call themselves sinful at all. They think of themselves very righteous. Obviously, they're not practicing what they preach, and they keep using God as like a face mask to hide who they really are. And that's using the Lord's name in vain. At least to me it is. Remember, mateys, I'm a pirate. I'm always wrong. So that's one of my biggest problems is these people who constantly preach the Bible, preach this, preach that, they actively go against it and do some pretty horrific, sinful stuff themselves, which is what leads me into my problem with it. Now, there's another part of it. It's a little more meaningless to some people, but I still see it as a good point to talk about. Anytime Rev is dressing up like a woman, or doing feminine things, or even talking to other people, Shanny always gets very mad about it. And this is a lot of times where you hear her start preaching about sinful stuff and God's gonna damn us, damn all the sinful people, whatever, right? This is usually when she gets mad. Now, the jealousy part makes sense because he is talking to other people, but it's almost like he's not allowed to dress up as a girl around Shanny because it makes her mad. Now, this can be looked at both of two ways. One, he's doing it to make her mad, especially at a lot of the end content while they're still living in their house before they went homeless. Rev would always do stuff to make Shanny mad, to make her upset, to do any other stuff like that, especially dating, saying how happy he was, how these girls or these people were going to sweep him off his feet and take him away from Shanny. All this other stuff. So you could argue that he only did it to make her mad. But really, it seemed like him doing it just made her mad. And this, again, you would see this with the Christian part of them would pop out. You know what I mean? The very religious, very P's and Q's, I could never sin type of appearance and personality would rear its ugly head around this time. Now, of course, Rev would deny any of this and deny that he's not, curvy in any way, and in fact, he's straight. The line he walks in is very straight and not curved like a like a circle. So to sum it up nicely, Shanny would use God as a personal hitman, and Rev would just start shouting a whole bunch of religious hullabaloo. And it means nothing because they're very sinful people. And now let me feed you a bit of scripture. Jesus does not answer the prayers of sinners. John 19. So obviously, that's going nowhere with them because they're terrible people who do terrible things. Moving on from that, let's talk about their constant arguments. Now, their arguments would be over almost anything. Food, probably drugs, people, of course, attention, Rev's constant talking to girls online and AI, to really anything. What I wanted to harp on the most, though, was the arguments over food. Now, at first, it was kind of funny hearing that Shanny for Christ, a bigger woman, I feel like her only disability is being fat, and though I'm not being rude or judging her weight, she is actually obese to the point where she has trouble walking. So it was funny hearing a very skinny dude talking about his partner being obviously bigger, not letting him have any food, their arguments over food, her always saying he was stealing her food. Really, it's up for grabs what was going on. And I know I took it, maybe a lot of people took it like this, but it was just another constant argument in their vast ocean of argues. But this might have some merit. What I wanted to talk about was the fact that right now, while being homeless, Rev looks a little bit healthier than he was when he was living with Shanny. Now, you could argue it's not their access to drugs or so on and so forth, but I think if you're still on the streets, it's pretty still easy to get drugs. I think what it was is he looks a little more filled out. He looks a little more full, not so much skin and bones. Maybe there was some merit behind the constant arguing of food. There was you would hear a lot of the older videos of Shanny saying stuff like, oh, he's stealing my food, he's trying to take my food right now, he's stealing my soda, he's not letting me have any. But as we know, later on into the relationship, their house was split up into two divides. The top part of the house, the second story, being Rev's safe haven, his sanctuary. He would live there because Shanny couldn't get up the steps. It was his one place away from her. And of course, Shanny would have the bottom of the house, the front room and onwards, the lower half. But the top half of the bathroom, or the top had the bathroom, and apparently maybe not the bottom. I say this because Shanny was known to have a poop bucket at her side, and poor Rev, well, he had to clean out the poop bucket every time. From wheezing, crying, and throwing up sounds, we heard it all from Shanny's accidental lives, because she would still be live while all this was going on. Again, we've seen it time and time again with the Resilient Jenkins, Nova Online, Tofia Chu, really anybody at this point in time. If they're online, if they're doing live streams, then you can bet your bottom behind that you're going to get some TMI, some too much information.
But my period came. I knew it was. I said I'm like emotional and stuff. It happened.
Was that
Where?
there?
Let me see.
I don't know.
She bled out. Yeah.
I don't know if that was there or not. I don't think it was. What the fuck?
My-
Is she cutters?
No, she's on a period. On her period.
Ew. Oh, she put her
And I feel bad for him because I know that he's like really fucking struggling mentally. Thank you. He's planning in the near future. We got to get this stuff all worked out though. But in the near future, he will be going back to rehab because he needs help again. And I just have to find a caretaker for me for that time being. It's a rehab facility for people who have mental illness. Am I scared of him? Sometimes. Sometimes. The last video he made, he was flipping you off and telling girls to call him. Did that actually happen?
Yes. Now you want to hear me, right? Yes. Because I am done. I'm done, Shannon.
Says the man who said he'd never do that. But anyway.
No, I didn't cheat. But I said, hey, call me. It was a joke, really. It was a joke. But I felt that way. And I do feel that way. I'm really done. I'm done. I told you that.
Then what was this conversation today?
Nothing other than me saying I'm not going to leave you because I'm taking care of you. But I told you, this is nothing new. I told you. Relationship, no. I really don't want it with you no more.
Then why do you kiss me? Why do you hug me?
Stop kissing and hugging you then.
Like, what did I do?
Oh, you know what you did and I'm done. I knew they're very good at trolling you because it's just like one thing that you didn't know about and you hear it and you're like, oh. It's real easy. There you go. That's it.
I didn't know this.
That was easy, wasn't it?
You mean easy?
One statement.
You're breaking my heart and you're saying that it's easy.
No, one statement from trolls and it's boom, you're done. That's sad.
It's what you said, Jason, that hurts. Do you realize that?
Yeah, I want out. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. But it wasn't tongue-in-cheek. It was more tongue-in-cheek. I wasn't serious. But I mean it. I don't want to be in this relationship, and I'm not in a relationship right now. I'm taking care of you. That's what I'm doing. And you need somebody better than me to take care of you, because I'm not good enough at it to do it. Because I'm fucked.
Man, the things I was gonna say, all the beautiful things, how much I love you and how much I care for you.
I told you I didn't want
And I get this.
Yeah, I didn't want a relationship anymore. I told you that.
Yeah.
I told you that.
I'm telling you, no woman's gonna want to call you knowing that you do this to women and treating them like this.
Yeah, I don't do anything to women. You're just what you are. So it's fine.
Did you just wait online for me to get online? Is that why you begged me to get online?
I didn't beg you to get online.
Get online so you can get some cigarettes for me.
That isn't what I said, but you're gonna lie again. I said if you want to get money for yourself, you should go online. You wanted chips. You said, I want chips. Right? You chain smoke worse than me now.
I don't know where to go. I don't have anyone.
No, she doesn't. Is there somebody that could help her out, that cares for her? That would be great.
I don't have anyone.
Because I know I'm not capable of it anymore. I'm not. But I'm trying to get well so that I can keep doing it. But I don't think I can anymore. I'm just not capable anymore.
All I've done was love you.
Here we go. Bullshit. I'm not doing
It's not bullshit for saying I love you, Jason.
I'm not doing this. I'm not.
How could you do that to me? You said you wouldn't do that to me.
Yeah. I did.
And now it's call me, ladies?
I didn't fuck anybody. I didn't touch anybody. But I said, I'm done with this bitch. Call me. And it was a joke. It was more so a joke. But I mean, I'm done with you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a joke. My ass.
Yeah, it was. It was tongue-in-cheek. You know.
Whatever.
It's not serious.
You were saying, you know you're gonna get punished from God for doing this.
For doing what? I'm freeing myself from a situation where I need to be out of because I can't handle it anymore.
I didn't do anything, though.
You're a liar.
What did I do?
Fine. I'm not talking to you. Because I'm not doing this. I did this for 4 days and I'm not...
But what did I do?
Fuck off. Talk to the internet. I'm done. I'm not talking. Because it's just going to be yelling. Yeah. Oh, God. Get off. Get off the phone. Right.
Oh, he hasn't been on his meds for months. For months, and I've been dealing with him being completely unmedicated and doing everything to hurt me. Whenever I feel up, whenever I feel a sense of power, there he is knocking me down. This is bullshit. You're full of shit. You're filling your head with narcissism. When all I'm trying to do is just take back a little bit of goddamn power that I've lost for so long. It's not right. I didn't do anything. It's like every little thing I did was criticized and yelled at. And I'm like, well, what the fuck am I doing? And this stuff comes out of the blue. I don't want to be with you anymore. Blah, 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 blah. I asked if he's been with anyone. He won't tell me. He won't touch me. I tell him I feel unappreciated. I can say, fuck you, bitch. You fucking cunt. And I don't know how to move on. I don't have anyone. I don't have anything.
So the house is split up with two parts. Rev would use this to constantly mess with Shanny, to sneak off, to do things that he can't do when she's near, or to go down and make fun of her a little bit. There were a few live streams where if he wasn't dressing up as a girl in the second floor where Shanny couldn't reach him, he would go downstairs while on phone with his friends or buddy trolls, and they would poke fun at Shanny for being big, for not being able to do things, and of course call her out for her negative and nasty actions. Now, these people are pretty nasty. They don't look like they cleaned whatsoever, and their house always looks dirty, which makes no sense. If you own a house, why is it that bad? Shouldn't you just take care of it? Whatever, though. I wouldn't have a poop bucket in my house, though. Their hate would grow, and yes, it would lead to homelessness. One time, calling the cops, maybe one too many times, as this happened at a common occurrence, the arguments I just mentioned would often blow up into the police having to arrive. Whether it was Shanny calling them, whether it was Rev calling them, it would always lead to one thing or another, but the result was always the same. The results always led them to them arguing, telling the police officers, well, yeah, I know I'm in this bad situation and I have to get out, but I can't get out. And the police officers just letting them deal with it. Because what are you going to do as a cop? I mean, you're telling this woman's telling you, yeah, he's abusing me and he's not helping me and I'm trapped here, I'm a prisoner. And you're like, all right, well, ma'am, you should probably get out and get help. Yeah, well, I can't get out and get help, actually. Well, then you dig your own grave, you know what I mean? You can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped at the end of the day. It's easier just to let go and move on. If they really wanted out, they'd get out, especially in this situation. So one of these phone calls would lead to something a little bit awful. The police would finally notice the state of the house, and they would put it in to be condemned. The house would be marked as condemned right around the same time that Shanny for Christ was taken to a mental hospital. Rev would finally push her out, make her seem crazy enough, and finally got her out of his house. But if a classic karma got back at Rev, and he lost his house as well. So they were both homeless, all because they couldn't get their stuff together and kept fighting with each other. A lover's coil that meant no end. The saddest thing about the homeless arc is the fact that they gave away their cats. Yeah, they had about 1 or 2 cats. You could see them sometimes, mainly just on Rev's streams upstairs because they're probably scared of Shanny. I would be too. I'd be scared she'd eat me or something, or eat me or hurt me, because that's pretty common in that household. I mean, Not much else going on besides people hurting each other and eating food. That's really it. So, like pieces of crap they are, I mean, right in the money for locales, they would abandon their cats and get rid of them and start their homeless arc. Chev and Remy were broken up, and now they were homeless, no home, and far away from each other. We thought this was going to be the end of Revy and Chev. But it wasn't, you mateys. But it wasn't. It would come on that he, in fact, is, they're homeless, and he's back on the internet. So let's hear what he had to say.
Well, this cloak around this area now has made me be called the Wizard. So I embrace that. And I will take it. I hope all you guys are doing well. Me? How am I? I'm blessed every day. This is my home. Yeah, I got no permanent roof over my head. But God finds a way every day to show me that he still loves me. So that's pretty cool. And I got coffee. And I got cigarettes. Because of one angel out there. And because of that angel, I supply homeless people around here with a lot of cigarettes too. So, who was it? I can't remember which reaction, whatever channel said it. But they're like, guaranteed Rev is going to be live streaming soon. No. But I decided to give you a video here. Because you do deserve that. Somebody said, what? Oh, we've been here for years, Rev, with you. Supporting you. And you can't even make a fucking video for us. Well, I'm making the fucking video now. Ravioli, what the fuck is the deal? I'll tell you what the deal is. I'm homeless. Since I told you the eviction thing and the not eviction, the fucking condemning of the house, I've been on the street. And I've learned a lot about life. Holy shit. I was a spoiled brat kid. No, I wasn't a brat, but I was spoiled as fuck. And I'll tell you, what people go through on the street is fucking insane, especially in Scranton, PA, because I'm going to tell you that there are not many services or anything that you would call support for the homeless population here very much. With that being said, the main reason I'm making this video, it's going out to Shanny. Yes, it's going out to Shanny. And I made a post, right? I told you guys I contacted her healthcare coordinator. Well, she got back to me today in a text message. And she said, Jason, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't tell you anything. So there you go. I'm not going to know what happened to Shanny. Get out of here. Somebody fucking called me while I'm making the video. So now I have to stitch the fucking video together. So Ann told me I can't tell you shit, guys. Because she can't tell me anything. So if she can't tell me anything, there's no way I'm going to be able to find out anything about Shanny. I really, really wanted to know how she's doing. Because I'm going to be honest, I've had time to think about what happened between me and her. At the end, okay? All that crazy shit with the live streams, and then she started calling me a pedophile and a fucking rapist and all this fucking crazy shit and say I was small dick and all this fucking bullshit. Of course she did that. Like, why would I think otherwise? Why would I think that she would do anything else? No, of course, and I knew she was going to do that when I did what I did. What did I do? I'll tell you what I did. Said I spent a night with a guy in a tent. Yeah, we cuddled. So a guy, actually, he was a year below me in high school. And, or maybe a couple years below me in high school, I'm not sure. And, yeah, we cuddled. Why? We had to. It was like 19 degrees out at the end of the, going into the morning. We were in a kiddie tent, and the thing was collapsing on top of our heads because it was like not that cold at the nighttime. And it was raining all night. I did the neck thing. Laugh at that, motherfucker. Look at the Times building.
A lot of back and forth on the Shanny stuff. A lot of back and forth on cuddling a man. And I don't even know what neck stuff is, so I'm not even going to go there. But yeah, he's back to doing some weird fruity stuff yet again while still preaching the gospel. And now he's even cuddling a man, while at the same time basically stating that he misses Shanny. And he wishes Shanny was there, probably to keep him warm in these cold, cold nights. So Rev is on the streets yet again, and he's even cuddling with men now, and that's pretty weird. But if that wasn't the icing on the cake, him and Shanny would meet up on a live. Now, this is faked and really does seem planned, but they would meet up on a live, talk a little bit, and basically just be like, oh yeah, everything's forgiven. Everything's forgiven, guys. Everything's forgiven. In multiple other lives that have come out since then, that was about a few days ago, they are still together, still making content together, with only separately doing content to one another every now and then. Every now and then you'll get only a Shanny live. Every now and then you only get a Rev update. But really, they're still together, and they make that very clear. Now, they tried doing some spiel, some talk about how Rev's doing good with one of his buddy troll girls, and now Shanny met up with someone in the facility, and now they're going to start talking. Really, again, this ties into one of my biggest points, and the reason I saved it for last. All of this was fake. Now, Shanny going to a mental facility, the home getting condemned, that part's real. But their constant fights, their constant bickering, it has been a rumor into the Shanny and Rev universe this whole time, even since their long ago debut, that they only fight for views. They only fight to make money. And it kind of makes sense. If you go back and look at a lot of their earlier arguments, you'll start to notice a pattern. That it's always the same arguments, always the same topics, and it always leads to the same blow-ups or blowouts. But they're always still together. And you'll hear Shanny say stuff like, well then why are you kissing me still? Why are you hugging me still? And Rev trying to defend his actions, but really it's both of them poking and prodding at each other on live, while also secretly hiding the fact that they're only doing it to make money. Because at the end of the day, what makes money? Talking about your shitty life? Or arguing with your partner about your shitty life on live? Yeah, you're starting to think like a IRL streamers now, getting those views out. So even I started to believe that this was just for the, the money. And whatever, at the end of the day, you're posting awful content to make money, then people are going to post about your awful content and make money themselves. I mean, that's kind of how the world works. So it kind of makes sense at the end of the day. This would even go on further in their homeless arc. As you could see, they're even now faking the meetups on lives by accident and any other stuff like that. You could just tell that it's all for money. And it's kind of heartbreaking, but at the same time, they're pieces of crap, so who really cares if we're being lied to or not? And I mean, they're lying to themselves half the time, so it kind of checks out. To those of us who have seen our fair share of neglect, and those still in neglectful situations, I urge you to make a stand and get out of there. No one can hurt you as long as you don't put yourself in that environment. And sometimes it's stuck and you have nowhere to go. But you just gotta keep pushing every day, make a little more difference, and I promise one day you'll get out of that deep hole that you've sunk into. Unfortunately for Shanny and Rev, they live in that deep hole they sunk to, and I don't see them ever getting out. While a lot of people speculated that they might break up, and maybe even for good, I think this homeless arc is only going to make their awful bond even stronger. From giving up their kids, drugs, hating each other, and Rev's weird girl thing, him wanting to be a girl but not really, even though he's a Christian man or whatever, that is the Shanny for Lore update. So now we're sitting at the point I just talked about earlier with him being homeless. Well, her and him being homeless. What do you guys think is going to come next? What comes after homeless? Right now they're trying to get a car so they can at least sleep in a car. So that's a step up, I guess. But what do you think is going to happen to old Rev and old Shanny? I guess I should mention there's a lot of people out there thinking that Rev is not homeless. In fact, they think he's just going out there to act homeless for his videos. That really he's living with another uncle or a friend. And honestly, that kind of has merit to it. While a lot of the times we see him in different clothes and jackets, and it does look like homeless clothes and jackets often the times, to me, they look a little clean. Now, I don't know about you, mateys, but I come from a place that has a lot of homeless people. And that's pretty common, especially in the pirate era, you know what I mean? But they're dirty, they have nowhere to clean, and a lot of the times they're disheveled. Rev looks normal. Maybe it's because they always looked homeless, even when they had a home. But Rev and Shanny, they look normal. They look fine, and I have a feeling that this, their homeless arc, is just another way to fuel their content. Because arguing is getting stale, and it's not bringing in the big bucks anymore. But homeless arcs, I'm sure those can bring in a lot of money. So let's keep our eyes on it, mateys. And if anything else crazy happens, you bet your Captain Rattle will give you an update. I hope you mateys enjoyed my tales today, and I hope you enjoyed the blubbling barnacles that was Shanny and Rev. But you probably didn't, and that's okay. Big shout out to my Hardy crew yet again. I love my Hardy crew. You guys are awesome. Almost 200 of you guys. I could not have been prouder. I mean, every one of my comments is either something funny, something fun, or just positive all around. Really, I love you guys. You make me keep doing it, and I appreciate you, mateys. Farewell, you scallywags.